still in violent.
Yeah, I think that's what
I
it
didn't
is.
know, I just can't hear it.
Let me see, you got me looking up that RCW now.
All rise. Superior Court for the state of Washington is now in session. The Honorable Christine Schaller presiding.
Please be seated.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Welcome to our 161st New Beginnings celebration for the Thurston County DUI Drug Court. As most of you know, I'm Judge Christine Schaller, and it is truly a privilege to be here today to celebrate with our 4 graduates, David Allen, Camille Berriesa, Jonathan Cantu, and Larry Guidry. As always, I'll start with just a little bit of the history. We have had a total of 806 graduates comprised of 721 drug court graduates and 85 DUI graduates. Now, this is the 8th month in a row that we have had the privilege of celebrating a graduation. Each person graduating today is incredible and has accomplished so much. 3 have had their driver's license reinstated. 1 person completed phase 1 and 2 of CDP. 1 completed an education program, passed the written state boards, and has obtained her professional license. And 1 graduate also stayed in the program, although the case could have potentially been dismissed based upon a ruling in State versus Blake. Combined, our 4 graduates today have 1,185 days sober. Now, in thinking about graduation, I honestly thought, what am I going to say? Because this is the 8th graduation month after month, which is an amazing problem to have. But I was thinking, I've used up all of my good words, all of my, not for the individual graduates, but just kind of as some opening comments. But then I was just thinking about drug court, thinking about all the people that have come through our program, the amazing professionals that work in this program as well. And some ideas started to come to me. One of the things that I was thinking about is honesty and the importance of honesty. Each person who joined the program, when you joined, I told you that you needed 3 things to be successful in the program. You needed to show up, you needed to try, and you needed to be honest. And if you could do those 3 things, you would be successful in the program. When I was also thinking about honesty, I realized that it is the first thing listed in a 12-step program. Honesty is the first principle of any 12-step program. So then I thought, well, I'm going to look for a quote. And I found a quote by Mr. Rogers. So I know some of you are old enough to know who Mr. Rogers is, Mr. Guidry. But he said, honesty is often very hard. The truth is often painful, but the freedom it can bring is worth the trying. And I think that that's what every person who comes through our program comes to realize as they go through this process. And there is no doubt that each one of you, during your time in this program, you've showed up, you've more than tried, and you have been honest. And your success is inspiring not only to our drug court team, but to all of our participants. So I was thinking about honesty. And then when I was reviewing the graduation materials, I noticed that 2 people's quotes, their quotes that they chose, were from themselves. And I thought that that was really, really very cool. And so David Allen's quote of himself is, "You must commit to succeed." And Mr. Guidry's quote is, "It's another beautiful day to be alive, sober, and drug-free." And I do think that our words and the words of our participants are so valuable, and perhaps are some of the most valuable things that we hear and learn in this process. So I asked some people involved with drug court to give me some of their own quotes, their personal words for not only our graduates today, but also for all of you who are live streaming, all of you who are on the Zoom as well. And I asked some of the people who don't normally speak at graduation to offer their quotes. Hope is getting up after you stumble and fall, then moving forward with humility. Sabrina Craig. Stop your whining and just do it. Kim Robbins. I thought that was classic Kim. Remember to stay the course and work hard at your sobriety, and the possibilities for your life will be endless. If you go back to your lifestyle before you got clean, the only possibilities in your life will be the end of it, jail, prison, or death. Of course, there will be struggles, but there will also be so many wonderful things to experience. Danny Duell. Don't take anything in life for granted, or life will take it from you. Jason Foreman. Create a solid foundation, then begin your build. Darcy LaChapelle. I also, of course, had to ask for words of wisdom from your amazing treatment providers, because they're the ones who truly have been with you basically every day, every step of the way. You'll never find peace hiding from it. Lori Mize. Some classic words from Terry Buckner. It is what it is. How is that working for you? But then he also said, thankful, shine bright, forgive yourself, clean, calm, let go, choose sober, you are enough, love yourself. And then finally, words of wisdom from Autumn. It doesn't matter how many times you fall, it only matters that you keep getting back up. If you are sorry, apologize and change the behavior. Don't keep paying for dinner, your debt is paid. Breathe. Stay in your own hula hoop. Attitude is a choice. What do you choose? Be a man or woman of integrity. And the last quote of hers is just the perfect quote to end with. Live the life you are meant to have, not what you have settled for. So I really appreciated all of our the graduates for their quotes, and then our people in our drug court program also for these really, really wise words. Now to the 4 people graduating, I say this at every graduation and I mean it. You are done with this phase, you are moving on, and we just really hope that you will stay in contact with the program. Tell us how you are doing. Send us pictures of the baby. And we want to celebrate your successes. We want to support you if you are having difficult times. We really care about you now, but we care about you as you go forward as well. I now will introduce the drug court team, and I will start on Zoom. We have the current drug court judge, Judge John Skinder. Our program manager, Sabrina Craig. I think either on Zoom or live streaming, our program coordinator, Kim Robbins. For the lawyers, we have from the prosecutor's office, Ali Abid and Jessica Shen. And I do believe we also have Ms. Hewitson on here as well. There she is. And for defense, we have Luke Swinney and Virginia Lagerstem. Our treatment team, we have Lori Mize, Terry Buckner, and the clinical supervisor, Autumn Irvine. And also either on Zoom or on the live stream, we have Danny Duell, the program assistant, Darcy LaChapelle and Jason Foreman, the office assistant. And I also want to give a shout out to everyone on Zoom or on the live stream who is a current participant, a graduate, someone who is just interested in this amazing program and celebrating today with us for our 4 amazing graduates. I'm super excited today Everyone knows that we encourage you to come back and get your coins from drug court when you celebrate an anniversary. And we have 2 people who I believe are on Zoom or the live stream who are getting coins today. I have to put my glasses on so I can read them. We have Mandy Maycomer, who graduated July 11, 2014, and I have her 8-year coin. And Waylon Graves graduated December 2, 2016, his 6-year coin. And this is not a coin issue, but we have 2 people who are accompanying someone who's graduating today, accompanying Mr. Allen. And that is Tim Morgan and Jamie Klein. They both have graduated from our drug court program. And I have in each of their, for each of them, for Ms. Klein, I have 2 orders of dismissal from past convictions for unlawful possession of a controlled substance. As most of you probably know, a decision, State versus Blake, has come down from the Washington State Supreme Court that says that that statute is unconstitutional. So convictions for that crime are being vacated. And so Ms. Klein, in your 2013 and 2014 cases, I am signing motion orders that vacate those convictions. And so for those of you who are watching, if that could possibly apply to you, contact Mr. Swinney. And Mr. Morgan, in your cases, 2 cases from 2017 and 1 case from 2018, I'm also signing orders that vacate those convictions as well.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
It's a good thing to be celebrating today. All right. Now it is time for why we are really all here today, and that is to hear from the people who are graduating and to celebrate with them. I am going to call forward first Lori Mize, who is going to introduce our first graduate.
This first graduate came to us from the chemical dependency program. He had 1 hiccup at the start of the program, but really nothing since. He was one of those who had several different counselors, but seemed to take it in stride each time a change was made. The man I got to know was a confident and determined young man. He is a hard worker and is building a future for his family. It is my honor to introduce you to Mr. David Allen.
Yes.
All right, so you must admit to succeed. Without commitment, there's no success.
One moment.
Okay.
You know what that is?
You okay, baby? You poke her
I
eye.
can't hear. Did you pull Bry?
You poke her eye right there.
are actually positive and to grow and learn from them. And that time management is a must to have a successful future. Phase 2 taught me to trust in people and in myself, and that this program will work if you commit and put your all into it. To set goals that are reachable and that the mistakes you made in your past are forgivable. Phase 3, I learned relapse prevention and how to deal with high-risk situations. I learned that I had a lot to give, and the things like family and friends that once made me happy, I can once again mend the bridges that I once burned. Drug court has saved my life. It opened up doors that I once thought were closed. I would never have grasped this without the patience and consideration from the drug court staff. I would like to thank Tony, who gave me feedback and was honest with me, who listened to me when I was struggling in the beginning of my recovery. To Terry, who gave me a hard time occasionally, but listened and gave me the proper information on how to know when I'm in a relapse situation. And to Lori, who became my new counselor and was able to open up to and get encouragement and the help I needed to progress. I would like to thank the whole drug court staff. Without you guys, I wouldn't have become the man I am today. Thank you. And to my sponsor, Tim, who has become my role model and friend. You gave me an opportunity to better my life, and you gave me guidance on my personal problems, and have taught me so much on the saw to become the Lee Sawyer. I look up to you, and you're a solid father and friend. And these are qualities I respect and honor to be your sponsee. And to not only my girlfriend, but my best friend, Jamie, who has stuck by my side through this journey, who has been patient and supportive of every decisions I've made. I can honestly say this woman has given me so much. She has given me opportunity and hope. She's given me another chance to be a father. I love you. Thank you.
Now, this Blake has something for you.
We done. Okay, now I have to figure out where David. There we go. So when people leave drug court, we try to leave them with a little parting gift. The normal, ordinary, responsible person cup. And inside of the cup is a little gift. Your 2 marbles, couple pennies, and your rock from your rock out. And a little poem that says, when it seems like the world makes no sense and you feel like you're losing your marbles, then grab your stone from within, say a prayer, and start your day all over again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
David Allen, 286 days clean and sober. And I'm going to invite Ms. Mize back down again to introduce our next graduate.
This graduate began the program by doing a lot of community service. She turned things around and worked hard on herself and changing the things about herself she did not like. Some of the things she worked on were communication, procrastination, personal growth, and her shyness. She's gotten her driver's license, a car, has graduated college, and started her own career, which I will let her tell you about. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Camille Berryessa.
Okay. Hello. Firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone who took time to come support me today in the celebration of recovery. I would like to tell you a little bit about me. I was born into a bad alcoholic family, but I had a loving father who cared for my sister and me. Unfortunately, we were only able to spend weekends with him in a loving environment. My mother put my sister and I through some of the worst things you can imagine a child could go through. Growing up with alcoholics constantly reminded me of the person I never wanted to become. At age 16, I started working a day after my birthday, literally because I knew whatever I wanted, I would have to work to be able to support myself. So I was able to work and get myself into driving school and get my license at 17. I also got my GED at 17 on my own. My dad taught me early on to have a great, strong work ethic. I was doing good until my friends kept encouraging me to come out with them and party and drink and smoke weed. I was not much of a social butterfly, but I did it anyways to fit in with my cool friends. Fast forward to when I was 21, I started hanging out with a friend who sold Percocet. I was curious and thought, who cares if I only try one? I will not get addicted. I know better. I was hooked instantly. The more I took, the harder it was to get throughout the day without having any. It started to affect my work and life drastically. I ended up having my son at 22. Still addicted to pain meds, I helped take care of my son for the first year and a half of his life, which made me think I was doing fine raising him, even though pills had completely taken over my life at this point. I eventually broke up with his dad, and he ended up getting custody of our son. I tried to get a lawyer to help me, but I could never get through, so I just gave up. I started hanging out with people who smoked meth and heroin. I was curious to do anything that would help me numb the pain of what I was going through. I lost my apartment and ended up homeless in downtown Olympia for a year. Never in a million years did I think I would be where I was. I ended up shooting up heroin ended up shooting up heroin in just a year. Never in a million years did I think I would be where I was. Oh, wait. I ended up shooting, Again, I remember always telling myself I would never even try shooting up. There I was begging my friends to shoot me up. That led to me selling heroin just to support my $300 every couple of days habit. I went to the lengths of taking it to Alaska a few times, which could have landed me in a worse situation. But again, I did not care and was willing to do whatever I could to keep my habit going. I eventually ended up getting in trouble, being knotted out in my car in downtown Olympia, and I was arrested for the first time. I went to jail for 1 day, but I got out and did not take my sobriety seriously because I was not ready. I never went to court for those charges, so I had a warrant out for 2 years until I was finally arrested May 7th, 2019, the night after my birthday, and a blessing in disguise. This was the first time I ever had to withdraw in jail, and after the 2 weeks of it, I realized this would be my last. Withdrawing in jail was so horrible, and not being in my right state of mind, I assaulted a law enforcement officer because I was trying so hard to think of any way I could escape. They ended up putting me in the hole for 25 days to detox. It was horrible, but I thank God no one had to witness what I was going through. I finally got in contact with my lawyer, Luke Swinney. I remember bringing up drug court before he could ask me because for once in my life, I wanted to be sober again. I knew how hard the program was, but I was ready to change my life. I entered the Thurston County Drug Court on June 4th, 2019. I did have some minor setbacks in the beginning, but I will always remember Judge Schaller telling me that this was just a minor bump in the road and just keep pushing forward. It made me push even harder. I was set to graduate in November, but I had gotten a low creatinine a month before. I was devastated, but I knew this was just going to help me have more time to be held accountable and more clean time to help my recovery grow stronger. I feel as though when I found out I had to do another 6 months in drug court, I could see the person I had become. I was totally fine with it, which showed me how much this program has changed me for the best. Drug court also has allowed me to pursue my career in cosmetology. I graduated school in September 2020 with 2 Student of the Month awards and a perfect attendance award. I got my cosmetology license in March of this year. I'm thankful I had the drug court team to support me and push me to reach my dreams. For this being the first time sober, every phase I was in truly taught me so much and how to beat those ways of negative thinking so I can build a successful future without a relapse. I want to say thank you so much to my beautiful counselor, Lori Mize, for always being there for me to help me out in any way you can, to make sure I was setting myself up to be the best version of me I could be. Thank you, Autumn, for listening to me and constantly encouraging me. Thank you, Mr. Abid, for giving me a chance to enter drug court. Sabrina, for allowing me to enter drug court and always giving me positive feedback. Darcy and Jason for being so welcoming in the mornings when I was there to take my UAs and helping me out whenever I needed the help. And everyone else in the program, who helped me and encouraged me. Judge Schaller for constantly listening to all of us and seeing what options would benefit us the most and always encouraging me to keep reaching my goals. Judge Skinder for really listening to us as well and being so kind. Thank you, Dad, for helping me out this whole time and supporting me since day one. My sister, Giovanni, and brother-in-law for always helping me and being so thoughtful to buy me a car for all the hard work I have done. I could not thank you enough. My Aunt Michelle for helping me out with my dog. You truly are an angel on earth. And all my other family who has also been so supportive. My family at Tosbury Academy, where I now work, I have created such a special bond with each and every one of you guys. And I will be forever thankful for you guys giving me a chance to be a part of the team. Chelsea, my best friend, it feels good knowing I have a sober friend I can count on. If you find yourself in a desperate situation, please know there is a way out. There is hope waiting for you.
Ms. Craig?
Thank you.
Camille Berryessa, 202 days clean and sober. Next, will Mr. Buckner come down to introduce our next graduate?
This young man was not overly receptive to the rules of the program when he first started. And I really don't think he cared for me too much. But soon after that, he realized there was a reason behind all the things that we did. Once he was on board, he started to grow. He began to like himself and realized he was a good man. I foresee many good things in his future. With that, I'm very proud to introduce Mr. Jonathan Cantu.
Want my slip?
Yeah,
You really want to?
yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's the blank one.
It's all there, sir. All right. My name is Jonathan Cantu. I'm 29 years old. Since a young age, I've been battling with a thing called depression and not knowing my self-worth. Not knowing how to handle any type of emotions, I would run to drugs and alcohol. As soon as I become addicted to escaping my reality. Meth was my kryptonite. Anytime I was depressed, stressed, overwhelmed, angry, sad, or simply just felt alone in the world, meth was there for me through it all. I've always had people, friends, and family that loved and cared for me, but I felt like no one understood me. So I felt alone more than ever. I just didn't know where to fit in. With meth, nothing else mattered. She was the love of my life. It scarred my heart to say goodbye, but it was nothing more than a toxic, abusive relationship. You were no good for me, which is why we had to go our separate ways. I loved you more than anything, but I loved you enough to say farewell. It turned me into something I didn't like being, a scumbag. Every time I picked up that needle, it turned me into a dirtbag. I would get the sudden urge to steal cars. It became an addiction in itself, and eventually would have picked up some new charges as the end results of my drug addiction. I got bailed out of jail. While on pretrial monitoring, I decided something needed to change, so I decided to self-admit myself into inpatient and intensive outpatient treatment, awaiting my sentencing. Trying to improve my chances of receiving drug court, they offered me 5 years or drug court. I chose the easy one. I know. It definitely wasn't easy, but it was definitely what I needed. It took a lot of falling down and getting up to achieve the mindset that I have now. But I can't give myself all the credit. Drug court had a big role in that by giving me a whole new perspective, giving me the ability to look at things from every angle and to think things through and scope out every possible outcome, whether it being good or bad consequences. It might sound bad to some of you, and now I'm not in denial. I know I'm a drug addict, but I realized that the drugs weren't my problem. My problems were my problems, and because I didn't know how to properly manage my problems in a positive or productive manner, I would run to the drugs. Drug court taught me that I was the main source of my problems that I was having. Because I lacked honesty, I failed to see that. I finally learned to be honest to others and to be honest to myself by admitting that I was the main issue. I I was my main problem and I was my main solution. I learned that I can't control the world, but I definitely can control the decisions that I make. I currently work at Tractor Supply. I love and enjoy my job. Sorry, that didn't seem right saying that. But it's definitely not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm still not quite sure what I'd like to do with my life, but I will continue to work at Tractor Supply until I figure it out. I know as long as I keep going to my meetings, keep reaching out to my support system, surround myself around positivity and people that want more out of this little thing called life, then I will continue to make the right decisions. I'm more motivated and more determined than I've ever been in my entire life. As long as I continue on the right path, not set limits on myself, and use every ounce of failure as another stepping stone towards success, I know the possibilities will be endless. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone as a whole, drug court staff, counselors, attorneys, judges, and the participants, etc. Whether we have spoken for a few hours or even for a few seconds, or even just a simple what's up, you will forever be a major part of my recovery. There are two people I would personally like to thank: Lieutenant Dan, also known as Terry B., my counselor, my friend, and my bowling partner. Just kidding about the counseling and the bowling. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding about the bowling, by the way. Thank you for sticking by me every step of the way, even though it wasn't really by choice, type out loud. And for not pounding me off onto someone else's caseload, and for calling me out whenever needed, and for helping me and guiding me through the first chapter of my new journey. But I would mainly like to thank the person that was there since day one. So thank you to myself for putting up with me 24/7. I know it must have been hard. Thank you for all the life lessons. Thank you for giving it my all, for not giving up when things got tough, when I thought I was going to take one more step and collapse, but refused to fail. And thank you for fighting for my life, allowing myself to tread on top of things I know I should have dropped.
Oh, Mr. Cantu.
I was nervous, we go.
Jonathan Cantu, 436 days to recover. I'm gonna have Mr. Buckner come forward one more time.
This gentleman was also a little grumpy when he started the program. He did not like the concept of change. It took a while, but he did see the light, finally. And once he found that light and once he found that new path in life, he had a newborn appreciation for life, for work, for friends, and especially his family. He is proud and he's happy with the man that he looks at in the mirror every morning. With that, I'm very proud to introduce Mr. Larry Guidry.
Thank you, sir.
Hi.
My name is Larry Guidry Jr. I am 54 years old. I have been in my addiction for 40 years, never thinking I had a problem a lot of those years, thinking everybody else was the problem. Boy, I was wrong. Sure, I had fun, some good times, but I got into a lot of trouble. I was in and out of jails, in and out of prisons several times. My whole criminal record revolved around alcohol and drugs. I have been to treatment a few times, and every time upon release, I made reservations to get high or drunk, never really wanting to quit. I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I entered into detox at Royal here in Olympia. And after detoxing, I went to Spokane treatment, Sunray Court. And that is where I started coming back to life. I was reintroduced to Alcoholics Anonymous. I knew this was the only way. After completing my stay at Spokane, I came back to Thurston County to face my outstanding charges. And that is where I was told about Thurston County Drug Court Program. And I said, yes, that was the best decision of my life. So I entered into the program. They were asking a lot out of this old drug addict. But I remember the people in Alcoholics Anonymous say, if you want it to work, you have to change everything. That is so overwhelming because everything for this alcoholic is a lot. So how was I supposed to do this? I started taking baby steps. And in phase 1, they talked about being honest. So I started getting honest with myself and others. My attitude toward the program and everything else around me started to change. I started to like myself and the changes I was making. In phase 2, this is where I learned to trust the program. And I got into my core beliefs. So, you know, my behavior started to change dramatically. In this phase, they also required you to get a job. So I did. I now work at Tractor Supply. Okay, Tractor Supply. Oh, I've got to flip that one over. Whoopee. In Lacey, and I love it. I also got my license, insurance, and a new truck. I even wear my seatbelt. See, miracles do happen. In phase 3, relapse prevention, this is where I have been learning the meaning of staying quit. And no matter what, I never have to pick up again. What I got out of that is my outlook upon life has done a 180. I owe it to the structure of the program and the changes I've made and the decisions I am making. I am so grateful that I have surrendered and turned my life and my will over to my higher power because my life is so much better these days. Yes, I had good days and bad days. I still have good days and bad days, but I stay positive. I pray to my God. And let's see. Oh, and I keep a smile on my face and things do get better. I have a few people I want to thank. I want to thank my wife, Lorena, for staying with me for 32 years, never giving up. I want to thank Sabrina for letting me into the program. I want to thank Lori for being a great phase 3 facilitator and always giving good feedback. I want to thank Jason and Darcy for always being supportive when we come in for our UAs. And I want to thank Kim for all the reminders and texts so I can make all my appointments. And I want to thank both judges, Ms. Schaller and Mr. Skinner, Judge Skinner, for being stern but fair. Keep up the great job. But most of all, I want to thank my counselor, Terry, for always being there for me, not only as a counselor, but as a good friend. Thank you. I also want to thank all the drug court staff for everything you guys do. You guys do a lot, and you turn troubled ones into miracles, and thank you. And lastly, I want to thank all the participants in the program because each and every one of you has put a positive impact on my life. Thank you.
Ms. Craig, just one moment. Larry Guidry, 261 days, clean and sober. I'm now going to call Mr. Abid forward so that he can present the Hope coins.
Thank you. Is this okay with court if I stay here?
Yes,
So I can.
I think that's fine, except, you know what? Oh, yeah, some people can see you. That's fine, I think. Sabrina,
So-
or should he be at the podium?
Yeah, you might want to come to the podium.
So the people on the live stream can see you.
Or you can stand here, Ollie, because the camera from the front.
Yep.
Here, either way.
So to all you graduates, it'll be my honor to present you with Hope coins. And Hope coins are part of our Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney's Office core value. We believe in hope theory. I personally believe that without hope, we wouldn't be here. We couldn't even get up in the morning if we didn't have hope. you had hope before you started the program. The hope is basically when we start doing something in our lives, we make some goals. To achieve those goals, we find pathways, and those pathways then enable us with our willpower to achieve those goals. So the reason for these coins is that we hope that as you have been able to accomplish your recovery goals in the drug court, you will continue to rely on those principles that you learned here and continue to look for those pathways, use your willpower, and achieve those goals. I just want to say some of the things that other people have said about hope. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. And it's added, nothing can be done without hope and confidence. That's Helen Keller. Also, Martin Luther King Jr. said about hope, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. So everything begins with hope in our lives. So it is my honor to present you with these coins as reminders to continue to achieve those goals through the pathways that you create in life with your willpower, but internal hope. Thank you.
So now the lawyers are going to have an opportunity to address the graduates, and we kind of have some people who've been coming in and out, but I'm going to start with Mr. Abid addressing Mr. Allen and Ms. Berryessa.
So Ms. Berryessa, when you started in 2019, the reports were that there were a lot of issues with you while you were in custody. But you continue to push for this program, and I'm glad that you did. And I'm very happy and glad that Mr. Sweeney discussed your cases with me, and then we did what we could to make that happen. Your recovery in this program, it started out a little bit rough at the beginning. Your UA violation that happened right after, about a month after you signed up. But then after that, you turned, for most part, things around. I am so happy to hear that you graduated college and got the cosmetology license and on your way to do big things. And I really admire your hard work in the program, and appreciate all of the good things that you brought into the program. So thank you and congratulations. David, you started knowing that you'll be spending some time in custody continuing with the CDP program. You were willing to do that. That showed that you were ready to change your life. And that was a positive sign early on. But as you said, everything begins with having a commitment, and it showed that you were committed. Your After finishing CDP, quickly I believe at that time you had an issue. But since July 2020, you also turned things around and stayed committed in the program. So you have a good job now and you're moving on. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think that we'll continue to hear from the prosecutors. And so Ms. Hewitson, would you unmute yourself and wave to everybody and address the graduates?
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, I wanted to first address Mr. Cantu. So, Mr. Cantu, I don't know if you remember, but I was the prosecutor assigned to your 3 cases. So initially before drug court, to me, you were the car guy who I could never spell your first name correctly. And you took up a lot of space in my filing cabinet because you had 3 cases. But you didn't wait for basically the attorneys assigned to you. You went ahead and showed us that you were ready to change your life, and you participated in a significant amount of treatment before entering into drug court. So you did transition from the car guy to really just a solid grown up. I think you were someone who really evolved, took responsibility kind of for your life and your decisions and how you wanted to move forward. And so you changed for me from the car guy to someone who is really kind of what I like to call is the silent professional. I think we have participants who just show up and do the work and put the time in. And I think we really only had about 1 violation for you, which thank goodness, because I still can't spell your first name correctly. So it's really happy to not have to write sanctions. I know everybody thinks I like them. I don't when I can't spell people's names. It's embarrassing. But I have really loved during my time watching you grow and watching you, just share with us, your struggles and the experiences with your family. I thought it was really moving when you talked about reuniting with your brother and how you both were distancing yourselves because you were in recovery, and that realization that you were both kind of working for the same goals. I thought was really just inspiring to the rest of us about staying in communication with our family members. So I'm very proud of the progress you made, and I'm so happy to be at your graduation today. So congratulations. And Your Honor, I have one more comment for Mr. Larry Guidry.
Yes.
So, I took over for Beth McMullen, who had Mr. Guidry's case initially. And the first time I showed up, I was like, who is this guy winning the drawing again? And Beth told me that no, Larry Guidry is, he's just a drawing winner. He is that guy. And the prosecutor and me said, I don't think I've ever kicked anybody out of drug court for rigging the drawing. And I hope we don't have to go there. But no, it's just Mr. Guidry, you are such a bright star in this program. You really were for me. You are, I think we have participants who come into the program later in life. I'm not going to state your age. And those participants, quite frankly, are either successful and they are natural leaders in the program, or they're just really not. They're just not at that stage to change. And you, sir, are such an example of someone who not only recognizes your ability to influence others through just your charm and wit, but you really are, you took on the role of a natural leader. And I don't know how many participants have jobs at Tractor Supply, but it is a significant number. And so I just always appreciated your mentorship in the program and the way you really set the standard for folks. When we were in the courtroom, it was very clear that you set a standard for other participants, and you were someone to look up to and someone to really model for other participants. So I'm so excited that you're graduating today. And good luck, and maybe buy a couple of lottery tickets, FYI.
And I believe that Ms. Shen wanted to address one of the graduates as well.
Great, thank you, Your Honor. I would note that I completely agree with Rosemary about Mr. Guidry. Like, it was really evident, even just being in the courtroom for a limited amount of time that I saw him, that everyone looked up to him, and he was definitely a mentor. But I also wanted to address Mr. Cantu, kind of a similar thing. I kind of came in towards the very end of when you were on your journey through graduation, but it was very clear that you had come a long way. I remember when Judge Skinder gave you your 1-year coin, I think he asked you something like, "Are you proud?" And you said, "Kind of proud." Well, I think, all the support of the people here, you should be very proud of everything that you've done, everything that you will do in the future. You showed a lot of insight in your life map and in the comments to the other participants in your last last month. And I think you've shown that today too as well, when you mentioned that, you didn't ask for support at first, but now it's there, and now you actually reach out, and now you provide it to others. And so I think you'll do great. Congratulations, and good luck with everything.
All right, we have Mr. Smith, who is present today, who I believe represented one of the people who is graduating. Mr. Smith, did you want to offer any comments?
So, I helped you out when, just to be clear, I did not get her into drug court. I'm not taking credit for any of that. But what I got was, I'm a conflict attorney, and normally I get them into drug court rather than deal with them while in drug court. But Camille had gotten into a situation through no fault of her own that somebody else was making some accusations about. And we had a 5-month ordeal trying to unscrew that up, where I got a chance to see her and relate to her and talk to her family and kind of work through that. And I never really ever get that opportunity. And I will say that when I first got the case, I'm like, oh crap, just because that's usually not how that goes. But you really impressed me with your patience, how well you work together, what your responsiveness to me, your ability and willingness to go work through the situation, and your acceptance of a process that was not very accepting of your need for time and your need for work. And I'm really glad that I got that opportunity to help you out, and that you're here, and it's really great. I really am happy to be a part of that. Thank you.
So, Mr. Swinney.
So, David, so I guess, I think about sometimes when I start out and, you're my client or you're a criminal defendant in a case. When I think about when we have graduation and we, and before time, and we show the jail photo, and I always think about, for some people, they're just crazy transformations. But I find for myself, it's really hard to think back about my clients before they're in drug court, because the impression usually they leave as a participant in this program is so strong on me. And that's what I think about you a lot, is that, you're solid, and you have like a foundation that's built on being determined in every aspect of your life. That you never let yourself get discouraged, whether it was about getting those 2 forms of ID you needed for your driver's license, or like the loss of your clean time early on. Like, you just had that drive and that energy, and you were so committed. And I just think about how you, I only see you, for a little bit of time here in this courtroom. I just imagine that you must be putting that same drive and energy into your work, into your home life. And so I am very encouraged by what you've shown, and I can't imagine what else you can accomplish after this. So I'm in awe of that ability that you have. So congratulations. Camille, what I've seen in you through this program is such a change. I think you were such like a ball of nervous worry and fear before you came to drug court, and you found your strength. That's inside of you, and you just found a way to actually express it and believe in it. And so the confidence in achieving your goals that you've developed in drug court, that you don't have those worries, you don't have that fear, or at least when you do have those natural emotions, you're in control of that. You know how to, getting your driver's license and getting your professional license for your career. These are things that you, I think before drug court, you would have just been overwhelmed and would have just given up. And then you didn't, because I think you have that strength now. So I hope you see yourself as a woman who is strong, because that's what you are. You're not controlled by your fears and your worries anymore. So, that's not an easy thing to do. And so I'm really impressed that you've been able to do that. So congratulations. Jonathan, Brian Gerhardt and Jenna Norden, they're in a trial right now, but they wanted to come in and see, and I talked to them a little bit. So I think I was only on your docket towards the very end, but what they said and what I saw, and I promise I didn't cheat, I did not look at your graduation speech, didn't hear it before you gave it, is that I think of what you said in your penultimate review, when you said that, you overcame the biggest obstacle in this program, and that was yourself. And I think you recognize that you're not alone and that you can reach out, and that having that courage to do what you needed to do to not let yourself trip yourself up, I think was something a lot of people have to go through. And I think that you were willing to speak about that and be so honest about that really impressed me and impressed them. So, instead of letting yourself be the enemy, you let yourself, be a comrade. And I think that's really incredible how you did that in this program. So I just say congratulations. And as long as you believe in yourself and you're true to yourself, I can't see that ever being an issue again for you in the future. So congratulations.
Yay, my baby.
And Larry, last but not least, what I've experienced from you is I've seen kind of the warmth of your personality, and I feel like you built your recovery on that warmth and how you express to other people, and how, in service to others. And I think you've demonstrated that throughout the entire program. So I just really want you to know that I think you're an asset to others, and I hope you feel that same way about yourself. I think far too often, people can only see the negatives and the drawbacks and think of themselves a burden on others. And I feel like what you've shown is if you give of yourself to others, you're an asset. You're not a burden. You're something that can enrich an entire community. And that's how I see you. So I just say thank you and congratulations.
All right, so now I'm going to make some comments to the graduates. It's always so interesting to me when I hear you speak and hear your speeches, because I have not heard them before, and to hear other people speak and to know what I've already written down and what I'm going to say. And we all see you the same way. And I just think it's really, really powerful, the impact that each of you have had, obviously on yourselves and changing your life, but on our program and on your fellow participants. So I want to start with Mr. Allen. And, I often talk about kind of the progress that someone makes in the program. And someone said, I think it might've been Mr. Swinney, about how we only really see you as you are now, even though I, kind of remember that there might have been struggles before. But when I was looking at your file, Mr. Allen, I saw that you entered drug court on December 17, 2019. And I keep all of the CDP reports. So I started going through your CDP reports, and I saw that you didn't start CDP until February 11, 2020, and that's because you had a little issue starting out at the jail.
Shit.
Can the person as Gracie Salinas please mute themselves? And I say that only because people have to make the decision. CDP is hard. And there are so many rules to follow because you're following the rules of that program, you're following the rules of the jail, and some people cannot make that switch, and you did. And by starting the program February 11, 2020, you have completed your entire drug court program basically during a pandemic. And so did Mr. Cantu. And I just find that amazing in and of itself, the progress that our participants have made. It's enough just being in this program, let alone trying to experience it and building your recovery during a pandemic. But you completed CDP July 9, 2020, and then started in the drug court program. You only had 2 sanctions and they were very close together. And after that, you just went straight forward. You have had some struggles, and when you were in CDP, sometimes it was frustrating with the process, obviously trying to get your ID, which was a continued issue that you had, finding the right job, but you found the right job, which ended up being a blessing greater than you could have ever expected. With, you just look at who's here with you at court today, who you met in the process of your job, and you had also a very supportive employer, which is super, super important. One of the things that I've seen as you've been in the program is really your acceptance, and just being able to accept things and kind of work through that even when things were difficult, because you did have some obstacles, especially again with that ID. When you were getting ready to move to phase 3, you indicated how your mind was opened in your application when you made the connection between how honesty, trust, and commitment have impacted your recovery, and how adopting those ideals really changed who you were. In your efforts to live an honest life and have a strong recovery, you've surrounded yourself with people who support you in your recovery. You chose a great sponsor, who you relate well with, and you are in a supportive relationship, and you are getting ready to welcome your baby girl. You indicated in your graduation application that you have a positive mindset and strong sobriety, that you are determined and committed to continue doing great and successful things to better your life. No doubt in my mind that you will do just that. And I hope, as you also mentioned in your graduation application, that you do start that drug court alumni softball team, so that we can all go out and root you guys on. Congratulations. Ms. Berryessa, you started drug court on June 4, 2019, and the first several months in the program were difficult for you. Someone mentioned lots of community service, but then you were able to really turn things around, and you had very few sanctions. You had one that was very impactful that I'll talk about in a moment, but after the first several months, you really kind of seemed to get your focus. When you started, you did not seem comfortable, and Mr. Swinney described that, and he said a ball of energy. And when I was thinking about it, it seemed to me like you were always kind of like humming, and it was with that energy. And from my perspective, some of your struggles early on in the program were because you did not have enough to keep you busy, and you were waiting for school to start. Once school started and you had that structure, things really evened out for you. You had that schedule, you had drug court, you had the treatment associated with drug court, you went to meetings, and you had a pretty significant school schedule, and you got into a really good routine and really started to dig in and do well. You even recognized this when you applied to move to phase 2, when you indicated, when I first came into drug court, I kind of did whatever I wanted. Now I know that drug court has helped me grow so much. And you continued to work hard and progress in our program and at school. It was always fun when you would come in and talk about school and the challenges of that, but also how you were enjoying the success at school. I mean, you talked about it in your speech about being Student of the Month twice. I mean, that's pretty fantastic. And we saw, Mr. Swinney talked about this, we saw your self-confidence bloom and grow every time that we saw you. We could see you recognize your own skill and your success. You have graduated from your school program despite a pandemic. You passed your written and practical tests and now are licensed. And you were already on that road and you were set to graduate. You had presented your life map. You had picked your quote. But then fate stepped in and you had an invalid UA in, I think it was October of 2020. So that set graduation back 6 months. But how we knew that you truly were just really where you were, that you weren't putting on any act, is that you completely accepted that. There was no argument. There were no excuses. There was nothing other than, well, I guess that means that I need to be in this program a little bit longer. And that was truly incredible to watch you process that. When I read your graduation application, I really enjoyed it. You have such a great support network through your family and the community. It is great to see that one of your one-year goals that you had talked about back in September when you had presented your life map, you said one of your one-year goals was a trip to Hawaii. And you put in your graduation application that you were looking forward to taking a much-deserved vacation to Hawaii. Your application talked about how through the program you have completely changed who you are or had been, and that you are becoming the woman you have always wanted to be. You truly are an incredible young woman. I have no doubt that you will continue forward in life, accomplishing the goals that you set for yourself, and continuing to strive for just bigger and better things. Congratulations. Mr. Cantu, you started the program February 18, 2020. So it was almost exactly just 1 month in the program before we had the COVID shutdown, no UAs, no court, and for a brief period of time, no treatment either. And you had only one sanction in the program, and it was within your first several weeks of your participation. And so I also just recognize the strength, you talked about it in your speech. I mean, really the strength that you have to push yourself forward and really change and not just have it be surface, but to be something that you're going to carry with you. Despite the huge disruption of the pandemic, you moved forward in the program. You have made tremendous and really difficult decisions while you were in this program, including ending a long-term relationship that was not good for you. You've been focused and you are practical. You have a good attitude, and you also take responsibility, personal responsibility for yourself, your life, and your choices. You especially have made significant progress in phase 2 of the program. And of course, I'm talking about the old phases, not about, I know that we have a new phase process now. In your application to go to phase 3, you indicated, when I first came into this program, it was to avoid prison. The longer I've been in the drug court, I have realized I needed this. I strongly believe that success is my new mindset, where in the past I always expected to fail. So what was the point? And you talked about that too in your speech today. You chose drug court instead of prison. And now you know, of course, that was the best choice, not because you're not there, but because you are here, you are changed, and your whole life is in front of you. In your graduation application, you said that you were ready to graduate because you've learned how to accept things. I have more than stepped out of my comfort zone. I'm ready for the next chapter of my life. You really have done an incredible job and have built a really strong support network. And you talked about that in your graduation application. And it's wonderful that you have those people in your life who will not take no for an answer, and that will continue to help support you as you move forward. Congratulations. Mr. Guidry, you entered the program December 3, 2019. You had only also one sanction during the program. You had a UA violation in August of 2020. Other than that, you went through the program in a very smooth, I'll say, fashion. From the time you started the program, your positive attitude and enthusiasm was infectious. You were serious about the program and changing your life. You immediately began not only working on your issues, but also celebrating and supporting your fellow participants. From the beginning also, it was clear how important your family is to you. Every time you came to court, you reported on what you were doing, what you had coming up that week with your wife and with your kids and with your grandkids, sometimes that you're going out for a steak dinner, and just all of the fun things that you planned out. Additionally, you are a huge help to your dad, and I see that he is in the Zoom session today. And as somebody else mentioned, you are the only participant I've ever seen win the drawing 4 weeks in a row, the entire month of January of 2020. As you went forward in the program, you became a leader, always applauding other people and encouraging them. And then after you got your job at Tractor Supply, you were amazing at helping other participants get employment there as well. And that was only possible because your hard work and your work ethic and your attitude at that job at Tractor Supply, you built trust with your employer. And so when you recommended people to apply and recommended them to your employer, they trusted you and your judgment. You are a true servant leader. You genuinely want to help and support people. You are an inspiration to our program and to our community. And your words and actions also match your written words. When you applied to move to phase 2, you indicated that you knew that you just needed to stay positive, keep an open mind, and want to change to have success in the program. And you also reflected that you were at that time honest, reliable, trustworthy, and dependable. And in your graduation application, you reflected that you have an outstanding attitude and outlook on life, and you are ready to give back what you have been given, the gift of sobriety. You already have been giving back, and your enthusiasm is going to be missed in court. You have a strong network of recovery, and you yourself are strong in our recovery community. Congratulations. So I'm now going to ask Mr. Buckner to come forward to talk about some trees.
Yes. The oppositional. Yes. A tradition started many, many years ago, well before I started this program, by Mr. Paul Graves. He's a forester by trade, and this was his way of recognizing the graduates. What you have are noble fir seedlings. They're approximately 18 months in maturity, about the time plus or minus for some of you that have been in the program. I suggest you find a place to go plant your tree. Find a good place to go plant it. At first, you're not going to notice much growth, but as time goes on, you'll notice growth with your tree. As with yourself, you have grown a lot in this program. All of you have grown a lot, and you will continue to grow after you leave here. My wish and my hope is that after you've left, that you'll continue to call us, come by, or come and see us. You also have a tree that you can go out and have a place to go and to vent to the tree if you want to. The tree is Mother Nature's way of cleaning the air, and a sacred place for yourself. I'm very proud of all 4 of you. You've done a lot of hard work. I foresee a lot of good things for all of you for the rest of your lives. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Abid, do you have any motions for the court?
Yes, Your Honor, I do, and I'm happy to announce those. Starting with the matters of State v. Larry Patrick Goodry Jr., cause numbers 19-1, 01700-34, and 19-1-01663-34. The state moves to dismiss those cases with prejudice based on his successful completion of drug court program.
Mr. Guidry, based upon your successful completion of the drug court program, I grant the state's motion, and I have signed orders of dismissal in both of your cases.
In State v. Jonathan Michael Cantu, cause numbers 19-1, 01935-34, cause number 19-1, 01919-34, and cause number 19-1-01779-34. State moves to dismiss with prejudice based on successful completion of drug court program.
And Mr. Cantu, based upon your successful completion of the drug court program, I grant the state's motion in each of your 3 cases, and I have signed orders of dismissal. Congratulations.
State v. David Walter Allen, cause numbers 19-102-103-34, 19-1-00357-34, and 18-1-01962-34. State moves to dismiss with prejudice all those cases based on his completion of drug court program.
And Mr. Allen, based upon your successful completion of the drug court program, I also am granting the state's motion in each of your 3 cases and have signed orders of dismissal. Congratulations.
In the state v. Camille N. Berryessa, the state moves to dismiss cause numbers 19-1-00883-34, 19-1-00873-34, and 18-1-01275-34 with prejudice based on her completion of drug court.
And Ms. Berryessa, based upon your successful completion of the drug court program, I am granting the state's motion in each of your 3 cases and am signing the orders of dismissal. Congratulations. Congratulations to you all. That concludes our celebration today.